Coach, just coming in to get ready for this week, back on the road again after a couple home games. Just give us your thoughts on Emporia week.
Yeah, it's a big week for us, like they all are. But as you get further down the line, you can even sense in the kids they get tighter, and they're understand where we're at, what's at stake, and ultimately it comes down to just playing good football, and just getting out there and practicing and doing what you're good at, and not worrying about things you can't control. So, what we know about Emporia is they got a great head coach. That their program is tradition rich. Also, there's culture. They've won 3 of their last 4. They've settled on a quarterback. Offense is playing better. Defense, I think, has been pretty good all year. And we'll have to play really good football to win, at their homecoming. So we're off to a great start. The kids again had a great practice yesterday. I'm anticipating another one today, but we're just kind of going about what we've done every week this far to get us this far, and hope it carries through one more week.
You mentioned settling on a quarterback, true freshman. Maybe a little surprise last week when they trot him out there for the whole game, but what have you seen from him? Obviously, he had a really good game last week.
Yeah, he did. I think it was somebody that Garen was probably trying not to play and hold on to for another year, and was probably better than their, the backup option at that point. And so they go in, and I was just really impressed. I think anytime you play a true freshman and you watch that game, good decision makers, didn't put them in bad spots. I thought Garen had them in or Coach Higgins had him in a good game plan for him, as well, to stay within, his strengths, and they'll challenge it even more. So it's cool to see that. It's scary moving forward, like Missouri Southern's got a true freshman quarterback. It's really good. This is another true freshman quarterback that's really good. Central's got a red shirt. So, those guys grow up, the league gets really good. So makes you nervous, but we'll have to play really good defense versus him, and really try and get to him a little bit. That's what I've talked to Coach Boswick is anytime there's younger guys in him, you got to hit them early, and get after them and let them know you're there.
Sean, just coming in, we've asked other guys about it, but sharing the workload at running back and having all you guys, it feels like every game could be somebody different leading the team in rushing. What's that been like this year to just have that group of talented running backs like you guys got?
It's fun, Our coaches put a lot of trust in all of us. We get a lot of reps during practice, so we're always ready for the moment. So when it comes Saturday, we're actually ready. And then we know Emporia is going to throw a lot of stuff at us, but our coaches prep us day in and day out. So we'll be ready for Saturday.
Just Sean, you've been in the end zone more times than not this year. Just talk about your confidence in the backfield, as you progress through the season, growing as a runner. Where are you at right now? What are you feeling? And it seems like vibes are pretty high.
I feel good. The coaches, like I said, they keep prepping us. We're always learning every day. So, I feel really good though during practice and stuff. And like I said, they just prep us day in and day out for the game. So my confidence is at an all-time high.
Coach, going back to Emporia, just their defense, it seems like it's improved from maybe years past. Got linebacker who has a ton of stats with the boss kid. Talk to us a little bit about the challenges they present and what's going to be the key for the offense this week.
Yeah, it's going to be winning the line of scrimmage. It's a little different. They play odd front, they play even front. They did, they started early this season a little more even, but they mix both up really well, and then they put their players in positions to succeed. And I think one thing they've done is they've put puzzle pieces where they can play the best. They have kind of 5 DBs that they play, 3 safeties that are interchangeable, and they put certain guys in certain areas where they think they can do the most damage for them, and they do a great job with it. So I've been impressed, especially just watching last year's film to this year. Is like 2 totally different defenses. They're way more aggressive. They're downhill. They're attacking, and they're going to make you earn everything. And so, but there's areas that we're going to attack as well. And that's the fun part of the gamesmanship, and the kids understand is there's going to be times where we've got chances to make some good plays, and that's going to be what makes the difference in the game. And if you look at, take Kearney for instance, we get hit on a fumble, and we got a receiver running that's nobody's 30 yards from him, as we're about to throw it, and that's a half second from a touchdown. We had a couple of those, and they'll present the same things, and just say, okay, well, now we got to hit those fastballs when they come down the middle. So I think they do a great job defensively, and they play hard, and they'll give us odd. They're going to try and stop the run, first, and make teams throw on them. And I'm assuming that's going to hold true this week, but we'll find out. But we'll lean on the O-line and the tight ends and the backs, these guys to do well, and we're glad we got a lot of them.
Coach, you talk about the game-by-game mentality, and one time or another, you've used the term as this team continues to overachieve. In a conference like the MIAA, where you continuously get a school that comes out of the top of the conference and they're competing for those top echelon style games, what is it about this team that usually you take a juggernaut, right, in the MIAA and they go compete for a national title? With the overachieving word, what is about this team that's been able to go game by game and continue to win games against teams that you may institute a different style of offense going to the next game, just because that's the way this team has to be manipulated from week in and week out? Kind of talk about that. What do you mean by that?
Sure, it's a great question, and that's a fair, because sometimes when you say the word overachieve, it's like, you think you're a bunch of non-athletes, and that's not the case, but we're not going to have 5 All-Americans on this team, and there's certainly teams that are going to have, a better receiver, better quarterback, better coach, all around, but I think uniquely this group cares about each other, and I think so. Opportunistic is a word I like to use a lot, and these guys right now care for each other and believe at all costs they believe that they'll win. And that's really powerful, because you're just not going to miss a moment too often. You're not going to see our guys down a bunch, and so that starts with the seniors. It starts with that group that buys into what you're selling and say, okay, listen, they're going to have a couple guys that might be better, but they're not going to have 11 that are better, that play harder than we do, and that care as much as we do. And so you're powerful when you have that unity of all 22 offense and defense, and then really 33 if you say special teams, where they have each other's back. They're going to tell you, I got your back, and mean it, and not care if you don't do well. And last week was kind of symbolic of that, because the defense played lights out. A game you should, if you play that well, you got a chance to win 50-0, because you get so many possessions and things go well. And the offense, when you turn it over, fumble it 3 times, you have an interception, you have a turnover on downs, that's really like 5 turnovers. And there's not one finger that's pointed, or do your just stuff that you've been around, you hear that. So that's magical, it's powerful, it's organic, and that's what I think is helping these guys right now is to overcome some of those things. Central Missouri is 14-0, you come back and win. Mankato, you get just drubbed, and come back the next week to win is like it's on to the next one, and believe in each other that more is to come. So I think that, to answer your question, when we say we overachieve, is we got a bunch of guys that play their butts off. They might not be the all-world or all-name team at the end of the year, but collectively we have the right ingredients, in my opinion.
Sean, like Coach said, you guys have been rolling going into Kearney as an offense, just really clicking. What can you guys learn from? I know it's mainly turnovers, but what can you guys take away from the Kearney game and kind of have it help you going into these last 3 games of the regular season?
We just got to execute better, and then just take care of the ball. That was really the main thing. But probably those two, I'd say.
What road game for the first time in 3 weeks? I know you guys like playing at home, but is there something fun about going on the road? And like Coach said, this is the last true road game of the regular season. So how fun is it to go into somebody else's house and try to get a win?
Like you said, last one. Also, I like playing away games better than home games. It's just a different energy, different vibe. And then it's the last one with the senior group. It's going to be a special game. And then, just go in, put your head down, and ready to work. So, for sure.
Coach, you had the first regional rankings that came out alphabetical. You don't get to glean much of that where you are 1 through 10, but you're in the 10. What does that mean at this point in the season? Knowing there's still a lot of pieces still to fall.
Yeah, it really doesn't mean anything, but it is good for the kids. Like, you talk belief, and I'm big on celebration and enjoying because they put so much work into things. To understand, okay, beginning of the year, it was like, let's find a way to win a game. Let's get to the fourth quarter and see if we can win. Well, to become a playoff team, what we talk about, you got to be in the regional rankings. And once you get the regional rankings, then you got to stay there. To get there, it doesn't matter where you're at, you're in the show. So in order to get that is okay. Well, that's great and exciting because it's a benchmark. I'm excited for the kids to have that and know that they're at that point, and also to know that they got a giant bullseye on their back now. You're not. Half of our motivation say, okay, we're preseason number 6. We say it all the time. And that's part of the overachieving mantra that we have. But now you're not sneaking up on anybody as much. And really, we would make a lot of people's seasons if they beat us and ruin our season. So it's more motivation, for us to hold on to that, and just even more to say, okay, we got to take care of this step, and then we'll worry about the next step. And I really anticipate our kids will play as good as we played all year. They're fired up. We had a great practice, and they know what's on the line, and they know where it's at and what we got to do. And it's almost like reeling them back in and be like, just shut your brains off and play football. Don't worry about expectations, what you're hearing or what's different. It's like we're still the same group that showed up in January and learned each other's names and then just said we're going to outwork people. We're going to do the same thing. And that's what's going to hopefully keep the train rolling. But we got to have that going at 100% to beat Emporium.